Gotta go get that wrong. Think of the show. Gotta go on. Who likes to take notes while I take totes of the marijuana smoke? So you wanna choke?
Community. What is good? It's your boy, the Bearded Wonder. You are taking notes with the Bearded Wonder. That intro, of course, is the Notorious B.I.G. Name the song is dead wrong. And no, you do not own the rights to say song, so please don't try to take my page down, YouTube. I did give that disclaimer. Again, this is your boy, the Bearded Wonder, and taking notes with the Bearded Wonder. And that's brought to you by the Black and Business Podcast. Of course, the Black and Business Podcast is brought to you by One Empire Mobile Studios, Designer Custom Glasses, and of course, the Next Page LLC. And you can get in touch with us. Actually, it's one simple way now. We don't have to give you all of the platforms. I'm going to anyway. But the simplest way now to get in touch with us is through our webpage at www.blackandbusiness.com and hit the contact us. It'll shoot us an email right away. Or you can get in touch with us on Facebook. Simply just type in the first bar, Black and Business. Our page should pop right on up. Or you can just email us directly, blackandbusinesspodcast@gmail.com. I'm coming to you live on a Friday, August 14th, in the year of COVID 2020. And today, I wanted to talk about technological advances, what is done in our community. And we'll talk the good, the bad, the ugly, the indifferent, the confusion, the whole nine. I just kind of want to just jump down the technology train. And of course, I would be remiss if I didn't bring up sports too. I'm gonna talk about sports a little later on, and that's partly because my co-host did his weekly one-off. Shout out to Dre from Brooklyn doing his weekly one-off. He had a fire topic on yesterday. That was August 13th, 2020, and he posted on Facebook on our Facebook page. Go back to the replay and listen to the topic at hand. It's an excellent topic. It's basically the nature of the topic was from the post that he found, and it was why do professional women have to date down or settle, basically. So it was really good feedback in our chat. So that was pretty awesome checking that out last night. I encourage everyone to go back on the Facebook page and get a replay and check that out. And he had on a garbage bag during his broadcast, and by a garbage bag, I mean a New York Giants jersey. So I'll get into that a little later, but let me get to this technology thing and what does it all mean, basically. I have been a stalwart in my family for technology. I remember when VCRs were first popular and DVD players were first popular. My granddad, my mom. My granddad was really technically savvy, but he would always ask me, to program his whatever, and had me show him how to do it. So in the event that I wasn't able to do it, he could do it on his own, or he would sit there and try to figure it out on his own. Now there is a beautiful thing called a instruction manual. However, 98% of men, yeah, I'm throwing my man card out on the table. 98% of men ain't gonna use it anyway. I'm just saying, it's a formality. We'll jump into the instruction manual like last resort. Okay, if I can figure it out, that's when we're going to the fucking instruction manual. But anyway, technology. Let me dive into the good thing about technology. The good thing about technology is that it gives you the opportunity to connect regardless of distance. Someone who's clear across the world can get in touch with, me, for example, via Facebook or email or, instant messaging or something like that. Of course, with COVID, it's got even further. You have apps like Zoom and Teams and different platforms to get your message disseminated across the masses, if you will. So that's a good thing about technology, just being able to connect without having to physically be in the presence of the other person you're trying to connect with. So that is definitely a good thing. I mean, I've been playing video games and computer games as far back as I can really remember, to be perfectly honest and perfectly frank. So I've been into technology for a long time. At one point, when I was trying to decide a college major, I was going to go into. Pardon me, guys. I just finished dinner too, so I'm a little full. I ain't gonna hold you. Um, when I was in school, I my major was computer information systems before I switched over to business management with my concentration in marketing and management. I didn't complete school, but hey, that's neither here nor there. It's not too late. I do plan on going back and getting my receipt, aka a degree. Um, so for me, it's been one of those things where I I've always been like ahead of the curve. So if something new would come out, I'd be telling my mom, my granddad, my best friend, whoever I could, hey, so and so and so and so is coming out, man. You might want to check it out. It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna have this, it's gonna have that. I'm speaking in technical terms. I'm speaking in lay terms. It all like kind of was all one, fair game, if you will, when it came to technology and my excitement for it. Nonetheless, um, it's a good thing. Like technology has always been like my friend to a degree. Like I said, I always played video games or had a handheld game or something like that. And not only that, during the course of this pandemic, too, um, a lot of people, um, and I would probably consider myself in that number. A lot of people have jumped to technology to help um, boost themselves or build themselves or build their brand. For example, Black and Business Podcast is a prime example of that. And doing things like this, the taking notes and our weekly one-offs, those kind of things would not be, I don't think would be possible without the advent and advancement and evolution of technology. So that's a really really good thing. The fact that you can go in on your own and build your own brand and draw from your own experiences, or even if you don't know what you're doing. Google University is real. YouTube Tech exists. Like you can look these things up and figure it out just by watching the story or reading an informational website. So I mean, technology definitely has a lot of upsides. Now, of course, I got to play devil's advocate to that. Like I said in the very beginning, I was going to talk technology, the good, the bad, the ugly, the indifferent, and the confusing part of technology. Um, I would venture to say that the downslope or the synergist technology being good is the bad side of being technology. And the bad side of technology is that um, the very thing that's good about it can also make it bad. The fact that you have accessibility at your fingertips to anyone or anything at any time can be considered, in some instances, dangerous. If you're a shopaholic, hey, get up in the middle of the night, go to the bathroom, and take the phone with you. Next thing you know, you ordered 50 pairs of shoes, 50 pairs of shoes, or 4 or 5 outfits, or whatever. You bought some random sofa or piece of furniture for your house, or a random accessory for your car that you probably won't use or won't look at after so long anyway. But um, that's the bad part of technology too. Also, I'm going to group in the very another thing that I thought was good about technology can also be bad as well. Like I said, I'm a video game player. Love playing video games. I'm more so a sports guy, so don't look for me on Call of Duty or Halo or none of that shit. I don't play none of that shit, man. That ain't me. And I'll probably lose my main call for that. I'm not into shooters, man. That's largely because I was brought up with the mindset of the purpose of a gun is to take a life, whether it's human life or animal life. So for me, I don't fuck with it in terms of the shooters. I know it's a little oxymoronic because I do want to get my carry license and actually have a gun in my home, but I don't plan on using it unless it's for protection or self defense, especially with the uncertainty of our society at this moment. That is another topic for another day, and we can get to that a whole another time if you like. But yeah, the video game aspect of it can also be a bad thing too. During this pandemic, online numbers have gone up in terms of online gaming. which is a good thing. I'm very guilty of this. I found myself following a streamer, a live streamer. And you may ask, well, what were you watching this person stream? Ironically, NBA 2K20. Ironically, I don't own the game, but I've played it in the past. I just haven't bought it, and I probably won't get it until I guess the next game one comes out for PlayStation 5. I'm not getting a PlayStation 5, but I'm sure PlayStation 4 will have a model like that. I haven't checked, but I will be getting the upcoming one as I deem appropriate. Sorry, guys, I'm gonna be going between two different beverages here. The time I'm filming on this Friday is actually a really, really good day for me personally. But anyway, I can get to that at the very end. But anyway, yeah, I found myself following a streamer. I never thought in a million years, and it's funny because the purpose of a stream is to basically have people watch you play a game. Literally sit there and watch somebody else play a game. Um, in this instance, this particular streamer does both. He plays games and he simulates games. Now the simulations are a little different. He'll set them up. Uh, he actually went all the way back to I think 1996 and had the draft class of '96 on. He's doing like a stream going forward to this year, the 2020s, in 2013 on his way to 2014, based on his live stream. I'm not going to give his name out because not because I dislike him or I don't want you guys to follow him. You may find his streaming not good or that's not your thing. And for example, I'm streaming right now. I'm a streamer, technically speaking. I'm a streamer. Um, but he sets up these matches and he plays these different challenges on NBA 2K20. And it's funny because when I was coming up, and I remember when I think PlayStation 2 had just come out or Dreamcast or something. Needless to say, I had set up a simulation, computer on computer, two teams. They were random, um, and I sat there and watched them play a full like football game, and I wasn't even touching the controller. I was just watching it as if it was a regular like TV show or whatever, a regular game. Um, and it's funny because I said then I was like, man, I should be recording this, and maybe I could sell my videos. I don't know, but I was being, I guess, scatterbrained or facetious or whatever you want to call it. Uh, kind of teasing like nobody ever buy that shit, or nobody's gonna watch me play a fucking game, like whatever, or nobody's gonna watch the computer play itself. That's just asinine. Now here we are. At this point, it's now shit. You want to say probably 17, 18 years later, it's actually a monetized business. The streamer that I follow has 32.7K followers. And it was one of those things like, damn, I had something, but I never took advantage of it. So to me, that's kind of one of the bad things because I'll find myself watching his stream and trying to catch up with his stream when it goes live. Sometimes it's not conducive for me to do so because I do work very early in the morning. Um, so I mean, if you start streaming at 8 o'clock at night, like right now, it's 8:30 Eastern Standard Time during this particular part of the live. Um, if he started a stream right this moment, it probably would not end until like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. So it's like a 5 hour stream depending on the content. So I mean that could be a bad thing too. I mean you find yourself stuck, watching this video, for 4 or 5 hours, watching the stream for 4 or 5 hours, and then time is gone. Next thing you know, it's time for work or it's time for you to go do whatever it is you have to do. So I mean that's kind of the bad thing about technology right now. I think that's my only real complaint in terms of technology at this moment is the amount of accessibility you have to people and things and items, and then also getting yourself hooked into the video loop. Even on YouTube, I'm guilty of doing that on YouTube too, where I've clicked on like a sports bloopers video or whatever, and then 2 hours later I've gone through 50 videos of random sports moments or whatever content I was looking up on YouTube, for example. And I find myself in that loop. That's kind of the bad thing about technology. In case you're just joining the live stream, of course, it's taking notes with the bearded wonder. I'm talking about technology, the good, the bad, the ugly, the indifferent, and the confusion of it all. What does it all mean, basically? And I'll also go into um, sports a little later on. And that's my co-host's fault that I'm going to talk about sports this particular live. I wasn't going to initially. I was going to wait, kind of see, but never mind. Anyway, Dre from Brooklyn, appreciate you. It's kind of your fault that I'm on this tangent about sports today. When I get there, I'm going to blame you again. But anyway, uh, I was talking about technology, the bad part of technology. I was talking about streaming and how it's entertaining, but at the same token, it can be and it is time consuming to watch. I'm guilty of watching it. I've been uh, I've gone to work very tired, watching the stream and staying up to watch it live because the live content is you appreciate the live content a lot more if you watch the stream that was previously recorded. The chat is jumping, and everybody, chiming in on whatever's going on the screen, and gamers talking back to the chat. It really is a very intuitive and interactive way to reach the masses. So that's kind of the cool part, but it's also a bad part because you get caught up in it. Like I said, I'm caught up in it. I had subscribed to a particular streamer that I follow that plays NBA 2K20 on a regular basis. I just like his style, man. That's probably how I got hooked into it. That's probably why I subscribed. I like, how he communicates with the chat. He's really on cuff, a lot like myself. He's nothing scripted. If something happens like with his computer when he's recording, or something happens in the game that he doesn't like, like shit. Why did he do that? Or he's real vocal about that kind of stuff. It's pretty funny. And the chat interacts with each other. They talk to each other, they get information, stats, etc. So I mean that could be the bad thing too is getting caught in that loop, that video loop of streaming. Or like I said, I love this platform of YouTube. I mean, you can go on YouTube and type in, how to fix my muffler, and then next thing you know, you're in a perpetual loop of different ways to fix car parts. Next thing you know, you'd be in a panic, messing with YouTube tech. So that's kind of the bad thing about it. Um, let's see. The ugly, the ugly part of technology. I think we know what the ugly part of technology is, and that lies within the anonymity aspect of technology. What I mean by that, if you don't know what anonymity is, I'll try that again in English, is maintaining being anonymous. Uh, so nobody knows who you are. Nobody knows, where you are in most instances, especially when it comes to chats and technology and that kind of thing. No one knows, who you are, where you work, that kind of thing. So the ugly part about it is when you get onto these social media platforms and you put up a post on Instagram or Facebook, or you have a free Snapchat post or TikTok or whatever you're on in terms of social media, um, it brings out the ugly, especially from people that don't agree with your line of thought, your ideology, your thought processes, how you feel about your opinion on a certain subject. It usually brings out the ugly when people don't agree with what it is you're saying or how it is that you feel. Me, I can give a fuck. I post something on Facebook or on Instagram, and you don't agree with it. That's fine. Everybody has an opinion, just like everybody has an asshole. You're entitled to it. You're supposed to have that. It's supposed to happen. I'm not opposed to a healthy debate. I'm not opposed to agreeing to disagree at all. I just think a lot of people are at this point are extremists. You're either extremely sensitive in everything that somebody, any and everything that any and everybody posts, you're offended by it. So I mean, it's one of those types of things. For me, I grew up in an era of having tough skin. Mommy always told me, shit's gonna happen. Life is gonna go on with or without you. whether you like what's going on in society, society's still going to move forward. Whether you're putting forth the effort to change that or change the indifferences in society, that's a horse of a different color. Time may slow down for you a little bit because you're on the front line and you're trying to do everything you can to help right or wrong. I'm sorry, taking notes with the Bearded Wonder is brought to you today by Avita Purple Haze IPA. I think I had this once before on the stream. It's one of my favorite lagers, the raspberry lager. Avita, get at your boy. I would love for you guys to hit us up. Dre and I love IPAs, so that'd be dope. And I don't know if anyone's noticed, but shameless plug. We're trying to get an endorsement deal from somebody. I'm just saying. Anybody got an in the community? Pass us along, please. Come on, this will be fun. Anyway, back to my trip about the ugly parts of technology. So, people, especially now, people are so hypersensitive about a lot of subjects and about a lot of topics. And it's one of those things where you just got to pick your battles. You got to kind of put yourself in a position to expect the unexpected or to put up or shut up to a certain degree. If you're going to disagree with me, I say come with the facts as to why you disagree with me, not just based on opinion. If it's a subject matter that I brought up, that can be fact checked. If I say something along the lines like baked macaroni and cheese is better than boiled macaroni and cheese, and you disagree with it, I want to see the facts. I want to see why it is that boiled mac and cheese, why you feel boiled mac and cheese or creamy mac and cheese is better than baked mac and cheese. And I'm baked mac and cheese. The more cheese it's on it, the more crispy it's on it. I'm gonna leave that alone. I'm fat. I just ate and I'm still hungry. I'm not hungry. I just like food. Anyway, moving on. that's kind of the ugly aspect of it. I think it's an individual basis. So I don't want people to think I'm grouping everybody into one basket. I'm not. Again, this is my opinion. This is how I feel. You don't have to agree with me. I don't give a shit if you don't agree with me. We can agree to disagree, and I'm still gonna be your friend. I'm still gonna ride with you. I'm gonna ask you to like, subscribe, and share. Our YouTube page along with the Black and Business Podcast page on Facebook. Get on our IG, Black in _ business on IG, that kind of thing. I'm just saying. You may not agree with everything that I say. That's fine. That's why I have this platform. That's why we have this platform. That's why the chat is wide open. We'll jump in, get in the chat. That's why I always tell you guys tune in and participate because I love these healthy debates. I love being able to get the interaction and feedback, and we can talk and do it virtually. One of the good things with technology, we can still connect without physically being in the same room or in the same place or in the same state for that matter. So that's the dope part of technology, but the ugly part, like I was loving about, it's just everybody's hypersensitivity to subjects or posts that may be put up by different people. So I'm gonna move on from that because I've been going with the ugly for a long time. I've seen a lot of ugly on Facebook, especially with everything that's going on in the United States, the Black Lives Matter movement. It's a very volatile time in the country. So I'm not going to dwell on the ugly too much longer. I'm actually going to move on to the indifference of technology. What is technological indifference? You may ask, or you may say, like, what is we talking about? Bearded Wonder, you need to stop drinking a beater because it's got you. It doesn't. The indifference in technology, I consider it to be in the lines of using it for its intended purpose. So basically using the internet for what it's for, research or shopping, or brand building. And this is, basically this is what the internet was brought up to do is, for us to communicate throughout the world and bring ideas together and, make a collaborative effort in one single solitary polished platform known as the internet or the World Wide Web for those that are fucking 900. And I love y'all because I'm right behind you. I'm like 550 years old. But anyway, nonetheless, technological indifference, that's what I consider that. Is just using the internet for what it's intended for. I do that on occasion. I practice technological indifference, which is when I go on Google, I search for the one thing that I'm looking for. How do I get a new eraser on my pencil? I don't. I haven't looked that up. I'm just using that as a broad example. I don't take notes, so I wouldn't know what to use as an example. And I look that up, and then I'm off the internet. Um, I've now taken an approach with my technological indifference of the social media. Maybe now I'm on social media maybe about 3 to 4 times, maybe I won't say 3 times a week, 3 to 4 times a week now. I usually try to give myself 2 to 3 days off of the internet and away from social media because you need that break. Number one, number two, uh, when you get back on, your perspective may have changed, and it's a day to day thing too. So I mean, practicing technological indifference isn't a bad thing. I say exercise it and give yourself an opportunity to breathe and get away from the constant news feed. Since our news and everything changes within a 45-second span, like our news cycle is so short now, and our attention spans have gotten shorter because of that. So that kind of goes into the ugly and the bad of technology. Just having that desensitized attitude to or towards new news or cycle or news cycle period. So good, bad, ugly, indifferent, and the confusion of it all. What I mean by confusion, it being that you are not physically in the same place, and you're not on the phone with this person or people, group of people. Um, Tone. I mean, we learn. We got text etiquette, for example, or even before that, when when emails were at the height or at the start of their existence. You didn't write in all caps because it meant you were yelling, for example. So I mean, it's confusing because it could be one of those instances where you're just trying to emphasize, one part of, the subject or whatever, and all caps it, and somebody take offense to it, and they're like, "Well, why are you screaming, XYZ across this post or in this email or whatever?" And you're like, "No, I'm just trying to. I'm not angry. I'm not upset. I'm not coming at you belligerently or militant at all. I just want you to know I'm very passionate about this particular subject. And I wanted to put a point of emphasis on this particular part of my sentence structure or whatever." And people just go, "Oh my God, what just happened? Why are we, you're in a debate. Next thing you know, you're in a debate, and then you're like, oh, I hate this motherfucker, or this motherfucker don't like me, or, I can't stand Sally because she always want to talk shit on the email or whatever. It's not, we got to take a break, man. Like, legit, we got to take a break. We got to slow down. We got to be human to each other, man. Like, um, it's one of those things like like me just saying previously with the technological indifference. You got to take a break. You got to just get away from it. You have to be open minded to other people's opinions. That's my personal like kind of plea across the board. Just people's opinions. They matter. I mean, you want to be you want to be accommodating to people's opinions to a certain degree. I mean, I'm not saying that you know, you shouldn't stand your ground where you need to stand your ground. And like I said, I'm perfectly fine with agreeing to disagree. You don't have to like everything that I say. I don't expect you to. I don't expect anyone to. I'm not gonna like everything that someone else says or someone else says about a particular subject or topic. And I hopefully they'll be okay expressing to me, hey, if they're the one that I don't agree with you, dog. Like that's not my shit. That's not my thing. All right, that's cool. Well, why is it that you disagree? Start a healthy debate. And then you never know. You can have your perspective or point of view change, or you can change the point of view and perspective of the person that you're having this discussion and bounce back to it. And that's healthy. You need that. That's one of those things where we don't get enough of that. We don't talk to each other with enough uh, respect and due diligence. We never kick the tires in the correct way. We always, we kick the flattest tire we see. We're like, oh no, the car's no good, and we walk away from, a gym. You know, it could be a car with like 50 miles on but nobody's driving it because it got two flat rears or whatever. Hey, just go ahead and put some air in that joint, or put the tires, get some new tires, and you got yourself a new ride. But anyway, we don't take enough time to be. We're not sensitive to each other in terms of opinions, um, constructively. Personally, that's that's my personal my personal shit. You don't have to agree with anything that I'm saying. Perfectly fine. Still love you. We just agree to disagree. I'm okay with that. So yeah, I mean, technology has definitely shaped our society in a way that I didn't expect for it to. I mean, I expected for it to advance as a society and as humans, but I was not expecting, I guess, quite the influx and influence that technology has on us and has been uh, on us throughout its totality. So yeah, man, technology, the good, the bad, the ugly, the indifferent, and the confusion of it all. Like again, the confusion of it all is practicing etiquette. Where do you practice your etiquette? How should you practice your etiquette? What is good way to emphasis on a particular subject matter when that time comes? So community, like that's my shtick on technology. Now I want to get into some good shit, better shit. I just want to get into a good topic. I think the first topic I had about technology is pretty good too, but y'all already know it's all about sports for me and how. Um, Not well, my Sox are doing horrible right now. They're living in the basement in the AL East, but I'm not. That's neither here nor there. This season doesn't really count. But anyway, my co-host Drake from Brooklyn. Again, salute. I appreciate you, brother. I love you. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity as usual. Um, but my brother Drake from Brooklyn did his weekly one off on August 13th, 2020, the year of COVID. Um, and he had on a trash bag. I said this earlier. I call it trash bag because it's a Giants jersey. I am clearly not a Giants fan. I'm clearly a fan of a rival within the same division. I cannot give that team name because the team does not have a name. So if you've been keeping up with the news or anything like that and haven't been living under a rock, you know exactly the team I'm talking about. Now, on the flip side, if you have been under a rock or you don't follow sports, you haven't been watching the news, it is now the Washington football team. I'm still going to refer to them as the Washington Skins. I'm not going to use the RED part because that's the part that's offensive. I've always called them the Skins. They've always been the Skins to me, so they're still going to be the Skins as far as I'm concerned. In terms of buying merchandise and everything, I have to wait for the full rebrand before I go all in on it. I like the fact that they're not taken away from the history of the original franchise name. All of our titles are still intact. All of that history is still intact. However, the team name, the logo, all of that has been erased and eradicated from NFL lore. Um, I was bringing up sports because I'm bringing up Drake from Brooklyn because he's wearing his jersey on his stream last night on August 13th. It's August 14th, 2020. Um, because I'm concerned. Uh, I'm concerned with the amount of pros that are backing out. I mean, I get it. I understand. I'm not knocking them. Trust me. I don't want anybody to see the stream or get upset and be like, oh, Brady Wonder talk shit. No. I'm not at all. I mean, I'm envious. I wish I could get paid millions for playing a sport that I love since childhood. That I used to play out in the front, throwing the rock up and down the street, running up and down the street all times of day and night. Thinking I'm gonna be the next insert NFL star here. Man. So I'm concerned because as we'll say now 8:50 p.m. on August 14th, 2020 Eastern Standard Time, about 68 players throughout the NFL in various levels of superstardom have opted out of the NFL season. Not only that, the NFL has not completely come up with a COVID protocol in terms of fans. Most teams as of right now will not have any fans in the stands, with the exception of in Baltimore, the Ravens, and the New England Patriots. We're talking about a percentage capacity, so maybe 15% of their total capacity being allowed to enter the stadium and actually view the game live. I think that's a horrible idea. I think do what the NBA and Major League Baseball is doing right now, which is no fans in the stands. They have or virtual fans, and they're piping in sound from various video games and audio outlets to make it sound as though there are fans in the stands. Again, the NBA has done really well with the camera shots and keeping it real truncated. So it looks, they have some cardboard cutouts. And then there's a few, people from each, team's organizations kind of spread out throughout their arena as well, to help give the illusion of, live fans and live action. So it hasn't been bad watching the NBA. MLB is tough to watch because these stadiums are very cavernous and wide open. So you can tell that there's no fans in the stand. However, listening to a baseball game with no fans in the stand and they have the audio and everything piped in, doing a really good job on that. I couldn't, yeah, if I didn't know better, I would think that I was listening to a Nats broadcast, nationally watching the Nationals broadcast yesterday, or yeah, it was yesterday or 2 days ago. Um, and if I didn't know any better, I would have thought Nats Park was sold out. To be honest with you, that's what I would have thought. Listening to. So I'm concerned about the NFL season. Also, college football. Most, not most, some of the college football leagues have canceled play for their leagues. The Big Ten, my the school that I follow, Penn State University, Pennsylvania State University, PSU, Mid Lions, whatever you want to call them, they're in the Big Ten. I follow them. The Big Ten has ceased fall uh, fall sports, and that includes football. So has the Pac-12, I believe. Yeah, Pac-12. The Ivy League has completely canceled everything. Um, so I mean, for me, it's a tough thing to hear, man. Not because I'm just a fan of the game. I'm thinking about also these children who are on athletic scholarships to play a sport that is now canceled. However, what I've learned, a lot of the bigger schools, like the Penn State, the USC's, University of Southern California, and the USC, they're going to extend uh, an additional year of eligibility to those that have scholarships, have athletic scholarships, so that way their eligibility is not tampered with. So typically, you get a fifth year senior, and how you get that fifth year is that they redshirt, which is basically they are not allowed to play in actual game situations, but they can practice. They can be at the games on the sideline, but they're not actively suited up to play. Um, so they're usually holding a clipboard or they're signaling plays in to their prospective teams or whatever. So that had me thinking. Well, there's a lot of scholarship athletes out here that are not going to get that opportunity. Not only that, those that are upperclassmen that are ready to go to the next level in their sport and go professional. How does this handle their draft stock? Like, with this, how would this hurt them? Our team's willing to use, tape now that's over a year old to make their assessment. Well, will be over a year old to make their assessment of a particular player if the player decides not to take the extra year of eligibility and say, look, I just want to go straight to the pros. I just want to, I want to get into my profession right now. I was on the top of my game in 2019. I was going to come in 2020 and just, put the cherry on top of the ice cream sundae, and hopefully my stock is going to rise more. So I mean, it's one of those things where there's a lot of concern with that. College sports, with professional sports, the NBA, MLB. My hats off to you guys. You guys have done a tremendous job in terms of having the kind of bubble thing going on. MLB, not so much. They've had some rampant positive tests with the coronavirus. Um, just recently, it was the St. Louis Cardinals had I think 4 or 5 players test positive for COVID-19. So there's still some concern even with the bubble. NBA haven't heard anything. They nailed it. I mean, 2 weeks before uh, NBA action started, that's when the players got there. So they had quarantined themselves for 14 days within the bubble. They were only allowed to be within their hotel and within their hotel room. They had room service, all of that. I'm pretty sure that was probably painful for all of them because they're all grown men, and there are some women involved in these sports as well. Grown men and women that pretty much didn't have any freedom to move about as freely as they would like. But for the safety of the sport and for the safety of the players and athletes within the sport, I have to commend and applaud them for the efforts they put forth, especially in the NBA, to make sure that you get the season underway, and they have. And then the NBA playoffs are starting tomorrow, August 15th. The playing games, which is a first for the NBA. I think that's going to be pretty cool. It may be something I think they may adapt going forward, especially if it works how they plan and it to work this particular season. So it's just one of those things where it's concerning. But I also I have to applaud effort where effort is due. So for me personally, it's just like you know let's see if we can get this shit straight and get a season for the people, and a season for the athletes, especially these college athletes. But before I close out, I got to definitely do one more round of bills real quick. This is your boy, the Bearded Wonder. You're taking notes with me. You can find me every week right here on YouTube, on our YouTube channel. You can plug in Black in Business in the search bar, or even taking notes out from America. The I in taking is one, and the E in notes is the number three. You just put those in, it should come up. You should see my ugly nose on the thumbnail, so you know that you got the right thing. Of course, taking notes wouldn't be possible without the Black in Business podcast, which is brought to you by Designer Custom Glasses. Next the next page, LLC, I almost grouped that one. And One Empire Mobile Studio. You can get in touch with us on our website, www.blackandbusinesspodcast.com. You can click to contact us. It will send you straight to our email. But in case you don't want to do that, you want to email us directly. If you have any topics or somebody that wants to get on, by all means, shoot us an email. And that's blackandbusinesspodcast@gmail.com. And Drake from Brooklyn and I or I will get in touch with you as soon as we see it at our earliest convenience. So don't get to you right away. Not our hearts, it's our heads. Because we're still working and trying to put everything together. I'm trying to grow this podcast as well. Definitely a lot of love that we're getting back. So stay tuned, especially to that webpage, because we have an events page on there, and that's going to be constantly updated. So you'll see when upcoming interviews are coming up, contests. Like right now, I got to plug this. We have a rebranding contest going on right now for Black in Business. You can go onto the website www.blackandbusinesspodcast.com, click the event page, and the details are there. But the contest actually started on the 10th of August, and it's going to run to September 10th, full 30 days. And you can submit your drawing for the rebranding of our podcast to our email, blackandbusinesspodcast@gmail.com. Subject line could be new logo, rebranding contest, something that's going to catch our attention so we know that you mean business. And what that does for you, the winner will be alerted as soon as Dre from Brooklyn and I have come up or decided or voted on what designs we like. That will go onto our webpage. It will also be forwarded to Designer Custom Glasses for our custom giveaways. So also we're gonna be doing a lot of giveaways. Jerry from Brooklyn and I are coming up with a buzzword contest. So it might be some things that will tell you listen out for uh, Drake from Brooklyn to say, "Hey," and how many times he says "Hey," We'll tell you, what to do. Email us how many times we're Dre from Brooklyn say A, and the subject line will be A, and then you put it in there. And if you're right, you'll be notified. We'll have a tiebreaker instance. If there's a tiebreaker instance, we'll figure all of that stuff out. But we do have a lot of things coming down the pipe. I'm extremely excited. I know Dre from Brooklyn is more than excited because this is his baby, and he's watching his baby mature right before his eyes, and that's pretty awesome. It being that I'm a dad, and I'm watching my children grow, my babies grow. It's definitely a very, proud moment. Chest is out here, proud papa moment. Um, so yeah, I'm very excited to what's going on with the podcast and so and moving forward. Um, but yeah, I mean, this has been a good one. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me this evening, this Friday evening. I'm pretty sure you guys are gonna get into your cups. I'm gonna finish getting into mine. It's the only beer I'm gonna have for tonight. I still have to work tomorrow morning, so I gotta make sure I'm good to run down and get up the next morning. So this is the only one I'm having. It's not gonna handle me, so I should be fine. I don't want you guys to get concerned and thinking that the beer they wonder is a lush. He is not. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing you guys very soon. See you guys sometime next week. In the words of rapper Joel Santana, don't watch me, watch TV. It's been real, it's been true. Peace. That didn't work the way I wanted it to. So I'm gonna try that shit again. Because we're gonna go out the way we're supposed to go out, and we're gonna do this shit the right way. And like I was saying, it's been real, it's been true.
People got it going on. Yeah, go. People are strong. People got it going on. Relax and take notes while I take totes of the marijuana smoke. Throw you in the choke, unsmoke. Pinky smoke for me.